Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my Walking Dead review. This one is for season 8, episode 12. This one was called The Key. Now, as we've seen from the episode, it is called The Key, as in the key to the future, which we do see physically make an appearance in the episode. It is a binder of blueprints and stuff, but it's pretty cool, so I will obviously get into that later. But I do want to start with where the episode began, sort of, with following up last week with the Saviors gutting up their weapons and ready to head on out to the hilltop to scare them, flesh wounds, things of that nature. So, basic welcome back. Negan gives the welcome back speech to Dwight. They get ready to move out. Negan's taking his own car. He's taking a Dodge Charger, which is pretty badass seeing Negan driving around in that. So, Dwight could not make his escape. He is forced to ride with Simon, who spends the entire ride bitching and complaining about Negan and how this probably isn't going to work. They don't scare. As we know, Simon's philosophy is just kill everybody, start fresh with new groups. He just wants to kill everybody, be done with it, expunge the filth, whatever terminology he used. So, and then we have Negan following his car. He dips Lucille in blood and guts and heads out. So he's bringing up the rear. And everybody moves out. Rick is back at Hilltop, and he goes to pay respects to Glenn and Abraham. Daryl approaches him, telling him how he's been thinking about all the people who died and the people who are still here, and how it's not right. And he does apologize for doing what he did at the sanctuary. Rick, says he was right to do it, which I don't know. I don't really agree with that, because had he not done that, the plan would have worked, and the Saviors would have surrendered. Yeah, they would have basically been forced to surrender. They could not. They probably would have tried to find a way to escape, but unlikely. So then the junkyard people would have seen, oh wait, yeah, Rick has them on the ropes, and they would have been on their side, and they all would have taken down the Saviors and split the winnings, basically. And now we're in this mess. The junkyard people have been massacred, except for Jadis, and now the Saviors are back on the offensive. So Rick drives off and eventually finds the Saviors. We'll get back to that in a minute. Maggie spots crates in the field, they're talking about Rick, will he come back from losing Carl? And Rosita remarks that Maggie came back, that she herself came back, so we'll see. Rick goes into a scary place when he loses somebody, as would anybody. It's not an easy thing to go through, but we've seen what he's done, what he did after Lori. He completely shut down for almost the remainder of season 3. So we'll see how this compares to then. He seems slightly more calculating than he was then, but he's still all acting on pure emotion, adrenaline. He was just like, screw this, I'm going after Negan. Now he's the one disregarding the plan. He just, you know what? I want Negan. Negan's dead. Let's go. Okay, Maggie spots the crates in the field with a note. Records of food in exchange for knowledge, and a meeting place. And they're debating this. Like, it's not the saviors. You know, and then they're saying, "Oh, I wouldn't put anything past them." You wouldn't, but this isn't what they would do. They would make a show, like when they drove the walkers straight in, basically. Rick chases after Negan. Simon and Dwight are talking about, as they're talking about the effectiveness of this plan. Simon sees the SUV, Rick's SUV, coming full speed at them. Says nothing. Doesn't warn anybody over the walkie. Just lets it happen. Lets whatever play out. Lets whatever is going to play out, play out. And Rick smashes into Negan. They chase. And eventually, Negan ends up on his car on the side, and he's basically regaining consciousness. So I'm not sure how that transpired from what we last saw prior. Who knows? Dwight and Simon go after Negan while the Saviors stay put and Arat is in charge. They have the alleyway blocked off and they're just keeping an eye out for anybody else. Okay, Rick and Negan fighting at this whatever this building is. Rick lets walkers in after almost getting hit with Lucille. He runs out of ammo because he's using a freaking revolver. So he throws his axe, hatchet, at Negan. Negan drops Lucille while dodging it. It's hanging over the cliff. So dramatic. That whole thing, I liked it. It was a cool fight scene. It was choreographed pretty well, but I mean, both of them could have so easily been bitten. Rick just didn't care. Rick did not care if he died there. Because he found that as long as it's you first. Negan said that they were both going to die there. So Rick lights Lucille on fire. Starts to break down barricade to the door that had, eaters that were barricaded inside. Call back to first episode with, don't open dead inside. First off, how Rick managed to miss Negan with every single shot. It's just funny how this stuff seems to always happen. Now, yes, Rick's a dead eye with most individuals, but Negan can't hit him for beans. But then somebody else probably would have ended it without even going into the building. I love the Negan's line, like, cat. Basically, I'm on 9 lives, basically. So, they're fighting. Walkers are getting lit on fire because Lucille's burning up. Negan gets Lucille after they're fighting and flees. Rick follows him. That's all that happens there. There's no sign of Negan once Rick gets out. And then I'll say what happens at the end of the episode. Okay, now back to Maggie and co. We have Georgie, Hilda, and Mitch, who are looking to trade knowledge, the key to the future, in exchange for records as in music records, and food. that Maggie and them are obviously going to be cautious. They take Hilda and Mitch's guns. Mitch is supposed to be the two women, but Mitch. Right. I was too busy focusing on Georgie and what she was saying. The one thing I did catch is when they were talking about made up words, one of them just throws out like moisture. I cracked up. I was dying at that point. Like, moisture is a real word. It's not a made up word. But so they end up. Maggie takes them back to the hilltop, and they end up trading food and knowledge in exchange for the records. They want to continue bartering with each other, but they acknowledge that Hilltop could use the food more, so they give it to them. Which is a very good gesture of good faith, goodwill. So I'm inclined to trust these people. Rumors has it that Georgie could be related to the new group in the comics. I have not read anything about them yet. As a matter of fact, I have to order the next comics probably soon. I'm trying to catch up, but it would be cool, if they introduce her early and then she shows up later on. I mean, what's more pressing is the Whisperers, but hey, nice tease to the next story arc after the Whisperers at this point. Doesn't hurt. I mean, they already killed Carl, so I mean, what else? How else can they possibly derail things? Okay, so also part of Rick and Negan's fight, Negan finds out that Simon betrayed him and that nobody is coming for him. So Simon's days are numbered. I think he's good for the next episode, but his days are numbered. And speaking of Simon and Dwight arrive at when Negan's car flipped over, and they talk. They're like, we could be anywhere. Simon basically convinces Dwight that they should just leave and go back to the Saviors. Dwight lights the car on fire and agrees, and they go. When they get back to the Saviors, Simon concocts a story. Negan's gone. There's blood. But we're all Negan, and we're gonna take out, march to the hilltop for Negan. So they move on, but they're going probably with Simon's plan as opposed to Negan's guts plan. So we'll see how that plays out next week, which it should play out next week. Okay, then the final piece of this episode is Jadis capturing Negan. It's revealed Negan is shown in a car, and Jadis is revealed to be the one driving it. So that was unexpected. I mean, everyone was probably expecting it to be Rick, but I don't think Rick and Negan are going to come, it's going to happen like that at this point. I think everything with Negan is going to be decided in the finale. We still have 4 more episodes to go. We're getting there. But the good news is, Fear the Walking Dead is going to be right back to back with the Walking Dead finale. So we don't have any kind of any break between them. Go straight from Walking Dead into Fear, which is going to be a crowded time for me review and prediction wise. I will review, first and foremost, Walking Dead. And finish out season 8, no predictions or anything. And then next up, I will review Fear and do predictions for the next episode of Fear. So it's going to be a lot. I don't know when. I'm not even thinking about that at that point. But just a little thought that that's how I'm planning on doing it. Okay, so we have 4 more episodes left of All Out War, and it's going to conclude in the finale. All signs are pointing in that direction. It's ramping up. It's coming to a conclusion. What that conclusion is, I can't say, because I know what happens in the comics. I'm not saying what happens in the comics, but I can't predict anything based on that because they killed Carl, and he's a pivotal point in the next segment, next saga, next group, next chapter after Negan. He's very key with the Whisperers. Hopefully we'll see when the Whisperers do show up what role Carl had, because they will probably give it to somebody else. I'll explain it in the video once they do get to that point and it's clear what they're doing with that character. If they do give Carl's part to a different character, most likely Enid, because she's the only character around that age that we actually care about. Not to say that we don't care about Henry, but he's not really developed at this point enough. It really has to be somebody who they've took the time to develop. It's really supposed to be Carl because he's been in the series since the beginning, but if they're going to flip it and make it Enid, I guess that could work too, depending on how they play it. So, I think this is going to be it in terms of the video. Before I go though, Walker Kill of the Week is Flaming Lucille Walkers. I just thought those were pretty cool. Top 5 moments. 5 is Jadis capturing Negan. Thought that was awesome. Because she does not know that Negan did not order all her people to be killed. Hopefully they can work that out. And maybe they can get revenge on Simon somehow. But hopefully Negan will tell her, look, I know Simon went rogue and killed all the people, blah, blah, blah. 4, speak of that, Negan knows that Simon betrayed him, that figure him realizing that. 3, Georgie, Hilda, and Mitch, and Moisture. 2, Simon saying nothing with Rick taking out Negan's car, and Rick actually taking out Negan's car. And 1, Rick and Negan's fight at the building, and this girl is on fire. I thought that was somebody reacted to that funny. I was like, you know what? I thought it was kind of funny because Lucille, just a girl, treated like a lady, and he was literally on fire. So Lucille was lit. Literally, she was literally lit. Sorry, just trying to put a little humor on here. Alright, that's going to do it for this video. By the way, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. I loved it. It's a great setup episode. It was a great way to introduce Negan finding out about Simon betraying him. And we got a cool car chase out of it. And a pretty decent fight. So, if I forgot anything, let me know. And if I realize that I forgot something, I'll throw it in the predictions. So, peace out, everybody. Deuces.